Now then, welcome to the latest edition of Red Army TV. We've got absolutely loads to talk about. Big FA Cup night. Got two great guests in the snug, going to chat all things Borough Me. I've got Mr. Red Cazone, Mr. Paul Burke, and I've got our resident Fox in the box, Foxy. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening,
good evening,
sir.
mate. How are you?
Good evening.
Lads, FA Cup action. Last Tuesday night. We go down to the capital, the team and Woody and all the entourage are down there all week. Spurs 2, Borough 1. I'm going to speak about the first 15 minutes quite shortly, Foxy. 2 errors, I believe.
Yeah.
Overall, though, are we ever happy with a defeat? But overall, did we do ourselves proud?
I don't think we. I think second half we picked up definitely. I know you're going to talk about it, but 2 mistakes. I think we put up a good. Last 25 minutes, I think we put up a really good show. He tweaked it a little bit, didn't he? And it was nice to see Saville put one in with his other foot. That's always good for confidence.
Yeah.
As you said, they've been down there all week, haven't they? They've got obviously Fulham on Friday. I think they've been training at Crystal Palace, which I don't think will do them any harm. To be kind of instead of going there and having to come back and if it had been somewhere else, if it had been maybe if we'd have played, for example, Southampton it'd have been, and we're travelling back, and so it's worked well. But no, I think we did ourselves proud, and it was a changed team.
Paul, first 15 minutes. I mean, I say 15, 20 minutes. I just don't think we got going, and we'll talk about the errors in a minute. But did the occasion get to some players, do you think? Big stadium, big crowd, Premier League side. Did it get to them?
Definitely, you've got to say that. To be 2-0 down after 20 minutes, and then you're always chasing the game, aren't you? And we came into it second half, but soul destroying to be 2-0 down after so early.
It was a bit of a sucker punch, wasn't it, the old first goal? Let's talk about the first goal then. Obviously, the obvious mistake we're going to chat about is obviously Mihas and the kick. I want to just chat about something leading up to that, though, fellas. First of all, should we be passing the ball back that close to a goalkeeper when a defender could have cleared it? And secondly, Mihas' clearance. Bear in mind, I thought the home leg, Mihas, I was thinking, I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
Looked really good. Then makes a clanger inside 3 minutes, Foxy.
I don't know why we have to be hell-bent on playing the ball back to keep hold of possession. I think that I get why we're doing it, but I don't think we've nailed that so much in our own league, let alone going and playing somebody like Spurs who were on the front foot straight away anyway. I think it put Mihas under pressure straight away, but I mean, you'd expect his kicking to be. It's a basic thing, that, isn't it?
Now,
clearing the ball.
Let's look at Mihas as well. I mean, the ball gets passed back to him, Paul.
Yep.
He lets the ball come across his body, puts it on, takes a touch with his left foot.
It's always dangerous.
Does he then realise to himself, I'm right-footed, I need to kick it with this right foot, and kicks it straight to a Tottenham player? Do we just think, again, is that the occasion, or is it just the goalkeepers? And you know what, I'm going to get loads of people messaging in. The goalkeepers, are they always open to a clanger?
Goalkeepers always are. You see it happen almost every week, don't you? It was just our turn this week. He should have just booted the ball out to play.
He should know which foot he is. I mean, he's had long enough to practice that, hasn't he? You know.
Or pick it up and give away an indirect free kick.
I just think to myself that, let alone he could have kicked it with his right foot when it initially come to him. He hasn't. He's tried to play, you know.
So do you think that's a team message then? Goes back to keep the ball straight away at the beginning of the game. Let's keep hold of it as much as we can.
Yeah, quite possibly.
We're seeing it almost every week now, aren't we, at the Borough?
We've seen it with better keepers as well. You know, we've seen it recently with other keepers in the league, in the Premier League. But I think it's a learning curve, isn't it? Maybe you don't need to have the ball straight. I think I'm a big believer sometimes that you get rid of the ball and it allows people to get out, and then you push on from maybe the halfway line, 10 yards in your own half, as opposed to
you're seeing it more and more now. This rules change where the players are allowed
to be inside the box.
To be inside the box, aren't you?
I think that's double-edged sword, like you say. If you're good enough to do that, you know, but then if you're not, you know, there's nothing wrong with pressing higher.
Yeah.
Especially at the start of the game.
Well, look, fellas, we'll go on to the second goal. And again, I don't want to say it because for me, Johnny Howson has been one of, if not the best player for the Borough this season for me.
Yeah.
You know,
he's due a mistake in an unfamiliar position, isn't he?
Yeah, and what he done is, again, like the Mihas thing, we could have just put that into row Z. Let's get it out there, clear our lines. Tries to play as the ball pinched off him, doesn't he?
Do you think that's a sign of maybe an inexperienced team finding its way as well, of maybe not knowing when to get rid of it and not know when to pass it. There's a bit of that too, but
There's a bit of that, but he's an experienced pro, isn't
he
he?
is.
He's been
He
around
is.
a bit, and he
He
should
is.
know. You know, he took that extra touch, and he just got away from him.
It happens, doesn't it?
It
He's had a
does.
great season, like you're saying. You know, everybody. Sometimes your touch goes awry maybe when your concentration goes in a simple place. Maybe if he'd have been pressed a little bit quicker, he might have not taken the extra touch. But I don't think we'll see him make that same mistake again this season.
But he's thinking, I hope we're at Army TV, you're not talking about this tomorrow.
Yeah, again, yeah.
What I will say is that's where we stop having a go at Johnny Howson.
Yes,
He's our
certainly.
favourite. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the old social media, fellas. See what everyone's having a chat about. Ibrahim Tanner's come on. Ibrahim, good evening, mate. He's saying the keeper will have better nights, but we all have an off day. He's trying to give me here a little bit of a...
Yeah, we all know it's highlighted with a keeper, innit?
Yeah, you know, everyone's open to a clang around there. Mohamed Ibra, he's been... Second half was great. Gutted we could not cause an upset. Sad to see Darren Randolph leaving today for West Ham. Well, look, we'll chat a little bit more about transfers and things a little bit later on. Mike Collins has come on and said, just lost his footing in the game, lost our foot in the game a little bit early. And I just want to come on to that. Mike, great point, by the way. Just want to come on to that. Other than the first 15, 20 minutes, fellas, and again, football's all about opinion, we love it. I thought we sort of settled ourselves into the game, Foxy. Do you think we sort of... Because when you go 2-0 down off 2 mistakes, I'm thinking this could be a rout.
Yeah.
But we sort of settled down, we stuck to a plan, didn't we? And played our way back in.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, actually. I think maybe 2 months ago we would have capitulated and that could have ended up 5-6-0. So it's funny, isn't it, how we've started off so negatively, but then the positives from that, it shows the spirit, shows the attitude, shows the determination in the team. That, it's not just trying to turn a negative into a positive. That is a real good thing. And obviously going to Fulham on Friday night, you know, we're going to need that to be able to get to stick in. But it's nice to see that when teams concede an early goal, that they don't get blown out the water.
Yeah, couple of lads obviously making a debut. Lots of changes, obviously against Tottenham. And Woody didn't beat around the bush. He said that right from the off, from the original press conference. He said he was going to make changes. Ben Liddell, we've seen Ben Liddell make his debut. Obviously, massive occasion, Paul. We've just said about the occasion getting to players. Was it the right decision to start a young lad, 63,000 people, in a fantastic brand new stadium against a Premier League side, live on the goggle box? Was it the right decision from Woody?
No. I thought he had a real poor game. But no, we've had discussions between ourselves about how we played. But I thought it was the wrong decision to start him. As soon as I looked at the team sheet last night, I kind of knew, you know, he's taking the league more seriously this time. No, wrong decision to start him.
I slightly disagree because I think that if we were comfortable, let's say 8th, 9th in the league, and we'd had a good start to the season and the whole squad was buzzing with it, then I think that you go for the cup. But I think that where we're at, we're just over the precipice of getting this team together and being unbeaten and people having confidence and spirit. Yeah. And I think that maybe he's definitely thought about Fulham and taking people out the firing line. I think, was it with Liddell as well? Didn't his dad play against Chesterfield in the 3-all?
Yeah.
I think that it's a funny thing because if he'd have had a barnstorming game and we'd have come out with that, even still getting beat, we'd have looked at and thought,
you would have wanted him in for the Fulham game,
yeah, and he's pushing people. But I think that it's a good learning curve for youngsters to go in a position in a game like that. He wasn't the worst he could have played, but he certainly didn't set the place alight. But he's got a place to build from now. He's obviously worth a bit. He's obviously a good player. You know, I haven't seen much of it, but I think it's, without me going into waffling here, it takes good cojones from Woody to go, I'm going to just put you in there and see what you can do. Because he could have kept them more, what we would call a team that we've seen more of this season. But
and obviously the other guy, fellas, just before we go to the break, the other guy obviously making his debut was Lucas Mecha, on loan obviously from Man City. I know what I thought of him. I thought he looked like a striker. Do we think he looked a decent acquisition?
Yeah, really well. I mean, if he'd have missed that chance, if he'd have scored that chance when it was still 1-0, it could have been a totally different game.
Totally. I mean,
totally different game.
I like this that we're bringing in young guys like this who are hungry because, I mean, what was it this time last year when we brought in Hugo or a little bit earlier? You know, we've done this tried and tested stuff, and you know, we've seen worse performances of so-called experienced professionals who come in and have a. So it's nice to see a young kid coming in.
They're hungry, they're technical, and they score goals.
Well, fellas, we'll be chatting more things about it after the break. But look, keep your messages, and there's loads I'm going to read out after the break. Keep your messages coming in on social media. It's great that you're part of the show. Obviously, we're on Facebook Live and out on Teesside TV as well. So keep them coming in. More from the boys in the old snug. After this short break, we'll be chatting Fulham coming up, and we'll finish off the little bits and bobs from Tottenham. Join us after this short break. Hi there, welcome back to Red Army TV. Got the two guys sat in the snug chatting all things, but I've got Paul and we've got Foxy. Fellas, just want to finish off on Tottenham a little bit. And a good point, me and Paul were chatting just before we came on, I asked you about it. 9 players, Foxy, from the squad last night were in the team that got beat by Crewe Alexander in the Carabao Cup. How much has Woody turned it round?
It's funny, isn't it, with football? Because a result just says to people, if they don't know anything, if they don't look any further than a result, that how could that have come from that to that? But it just tells you where the spirit's been in that camp. Also, for me, I think it's a lot harder to turn your season around from the beginning when you're a new guy to get to where you are now. So if we'd have started the season barnstorming and he'd be struggling now, people would be questioning it more, because what would the start be? But he's shown that whatever he's doing and whatever they're applying themselves day in, day out, people have bought into it, and it's educating them, it's working, it's getting somewhere, and that only tells me, it only gives me positivity for the rest of the season, no matter what happens against Fulham.
How many people were calling for his head after that Crewe game?
You've got to say, there's got to be, 70% of people, 8% of fans who are going, let's just abort before we go too far, but you can't give him enough praise and credit.
Took Spurs to a replay, beat West Brom, beat Preston.
Yeah. And 2 home records, by the way, that have been stood for a long time, that other teams have gone and not had a sniff at, perceivedly much better teams, and we've played them both off the park.
What is really good, fellas, as well, is that fans have come out and said, you know what,
I
was a bit quick there to have a go at Woody. He's starting to change it. Look, credit to the fans.
He's changed my mind.
Yeah.
He's absolutely changed my mind.
And it's nice to see, like you say, because there's nothing worse than a football fan who can't go, who's ignorant with it.
Yeah, exactly.
We all love the club, we all want the best thing for it.
Because if you were ignorant and you were fickle, you'd be a Newcastle fan. But anyway, let's look at the social media. Loads coming in. Martin Day said, it's fair to say we would not win the FA Cup this season, so let's not concentrate on the main event and climb up that table. I think that's a great comment. Abraham's been on. I think the fact that we recovered from 2-0 down didn't capitulate. You said, using all these big words. Using all these big words on Red Army TV tonight.
Once a week.
It's testament to how far the team and Woody's come. I couldn't agree with more. And Claire Yafano's been on. Don't slag the keepers off. I said we'd have a go, didn't we?
Sorry, Claire.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can't knock the keepers. She likes the gloves. Anyway, listen. I just want to finish on Tottenham on what Woodgate said on the post-match interview straight after the game. And he said, look, nobody likes getting beat. Nobody likes getting beat in a game of football. But he said it was the way that we got beat. Didn't stop battling. He mentioned, and I'm going to say it, he mentioned passion, he mentioned commitment, and he mentioned guts.
Which I think the 3 things he asked for initially, aren't they?
And he said, that's what you want from Middlesbrough players and from a team from me. Do we agree, fellas?
He said that's what he said when he got the job. He said, that's what you'll get from my teams. And it's only now that we're starting to see it over these last couple of months.
We all know as football fans, whether it's Barcelona, Middlesbrough, Rochdale, whoever it is, if your guys go out and give everything, then you can accept a lot of other stuff. So, as you've said there, that's bearing fruit now. I think that work ethic was always there, but the results were going against us, so people were blind to that. And they weren't prepared to accept that. So, now the results are going, people are buying and going, well, but it takes time to work at something, and all of a sudden, it happens, and then everybody goes, we can see what you were doing behind the scenes now. And fair play to him, because his sound bites have got a lot better as well.
He's obviously been doing a bit of training.
He has, but fair play to him.
Look, before we move on to, obviously, the Friday night game, still down in the capital, down at Craven Cottage, before we move on to that, fellas, obviously transfer news has moved in. It was mentioned on social media. Obviously, the Darren Randolph saga is over.
Yeah.
Phil 2 medicals, but the West Ham deal has gone through.
We were desperate there, weren't we?
The longest medical in history, wasn't it?
Well, I think
Woody.
Woodgate said, and
Woody,
I'm using his words again, he said, I've had some medicals,
Yeah, he has.
and he questioned West Ham's medicals. The question I've got for you guys is,
I love his honesty, I
do
love
we
that
need a
from him.
goalkeeper? Because we've got, obviously, Ainsley Pears, we've got Thomas Mihias, and obviously we've got young Sol Bryn, who is well talked about in sort of junior ranks of football. Do we need to go out and spend?
Yeah.
Or do we think Woody's going to sail the ship till the end of the season with them 3 goalkeepers? Paul?
I think we do need one. Yeah, another
Experience. I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
backup. Experience
Yeah.
backup.
Do
you know, someone from like a lower Premier League side that's not getting a game.
The guy from St Gallen, isn't it? I can't think of his name, forgive me, but he's touted as quite a good keeper from what I've seen in his experience. But you know,
The same, we've agreed a £1 million fee out there for him. But it's the Swiss Premier League. Do we really want someone coming over that doesn't know?
It would have been perfect, but I don't know whether it would have happened, especially with where he's ended up. Would have been a Begovic.
Yeah.
Or, you know, somebody...
Borough or AC Milan.
Yeah, well, it's a tough one, that. We've got the
look,
Cleveland
fellas,
centre,
if
haven't
we're
we?
looking for experience and cover, we've had the likes of Andy Lonergan, who
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in, didn't play much football at the Borough, but he was there giving experience, great for young goalkeepers.
When he got a Champions League medal.
Exactly.
Where's Dimmy now?
And we've got a guy just up the road, signed for Hartlepool on a plays-you-play basis in Dimmy. So look, there's plenty of experience in and around there.
Can you not play a share? You know, I mean, that would be good, wouldn't it, if you could play a share? You know, like a car share, we have an Uber keeper. You know, everybody gets a piece of him. Because he could easily do the 10-minute journey up the road, couldn't he? And come and sit with the Borough. And,
Of course he could.
you know, as bizarre as
Do
that
the 3 o'clock
sounds.
kick-offs for Hartlepool.
Yeah,
then
totally.
Quarter to 8 kick-off for us, and yeah.
But I mean, I think that's exciting there. Look, given Thomas Mihias his due, look, he made a mistake last night, so what?
Yeah.
You know, but Ainsley Pears is fresh, you know, he's fresh out of the academy, and, you know, he's been a revelation, really, in standing in for Randolph when he was injured. You've got
Especially at a tricky time as well, Yaff.
Yeah.
He didn't come into a team that was sailing.
Exactly, coming when... Exactly.
Shows his character.
And I think
But him
it's
coming-
five clean sheets he kept.
Yeah, which is immense.
Over 300 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, and obviously, you know, young Sol Bryn was on the bench again last night. He was on the bench against Tottenham. I know it's all good experience for him. I just think that, you know, do we cut our losses and think, can we soldier on? But
No,
only time will tell.
We need an experienced keeper, I think you're right.
Before we quickly go on to Fulham, the last thing I want to chat about is the fee, Paul. Now, it's rumoured to be around about £4.5 million.
It's gone down then.
It's rumoured to be about £4.5 million, but there's also, and again, we can't confirm this, it's only what we've read on social media and other blogs. We still owe money apparently for Fletcher, and we possibly still owe money for him. So that's why the
really?
so that's why
That's what the rumours were.
the fee for Randolph is only £4.5 million. Bear in mind, he's been the Championship's best keeper for me for 2 seasons.
Did we get him out a little once? We've been paid
But
that
do
off
you-
weekly then. I mean, that's...
Do you take that fee and then risk losing him on a free at the end of the season?
You know what, actually,
Yeah,
it's a
that's the
good
big
point.
one, yeah.
I think it's
Great
good
point.
business in that respect because we've paid them off with their own money again without... So that's quite savvy, really.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And we're not missing him.
You know, and people
No.
asked, would we recruit without Adrian Beverton? I'm sure we answered that question 2 years ago on this show. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm not going to go back.
No.
I'm not Chris Lofthouse. We don't go back. Look, Fulham, fellas. Fulham, 7:45 kick-off down at Craven Cottage. Again, live on the old Goggle Box. So we've been down in the capital all week as the Borough. Obviously, there's one man up front, isn't there, Mitrovic. We need to be careful of him, don't we, Foxy?
Yeah, I think their front three, I mean, I think Knockhart, is it Cavalieri as well they've got? I think for me, they're a real potent, dangerous team in this league, and I think that they've been hit and miss. And funnily enough, they've had a similar new manager, Parker and stuff. I know he finished last season with them and stuff, but yeah, he's frightening on his day, but he will he give us a torrid time. At our place, he was.
Yeah.
But I think that we are. If we keep him out of the game, I think it's that front three. I think Knockhart, Cavalieri. I mean, Carney as well. Tom Carney, bursting midfielder, great player. But, you know, as cliche as it is now, there's no reason why we can't go to anywhere and get a result now. And I think that, like we're talking about...
Shown by Preston and West Brom, hasn't it?
Yeah,
They've gone.
and as you mentioned with the FA Cup, it hasn't destroyed any confidence. It's probably gained it in a crazy paradox. So, you know, if, like you say, if we shut him out, there is danger, but then he's one of them players to me who can just as easy get sent off if you ruffle him
This
up.
game Friday night, I would like to see their keeper get sent off again after another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And see how we get on this time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's going to be changes, Paul, isn't there? I mean, obviously, from the cup game, there's going to be changes. I would probably hazard a guess that Patrick Roberts will be back in the side. Saville probably be back in the side.
Tav's going to be back in the side.
Tav may well be back in the side. One thing here, and just quickly going back to the social media, it's Nick Matthews has put, what you've got to admire about Metcher is the lad's fearless, very direct, and loves running at defenders. Could we see two up front again against Fulham, Paul, Fletcher and Metcher again?
I'd hope so.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Go for it away from home.
Yeah, and you put Roberts behind them three. Tav there. I mean, you've got creativity and you've got people, like you said. There's nothing worse in football for a defender as a player who wants to run at you.
You've got
with pace and trickery.
Yeah.
Roberts looks special.
Yeah.
He's the new. He's a Ramirez role. We could eulogize about him.
Crying out for that for
completely.
years.
It's funny how it's just all of a sudden came about like that when it wasn't in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Perfect. I was even happy to have Tomlin back.
Well, fellas, time's nearly run out again. It's always too short on this show. Prediction, Foxy? Fulham? Come on.
I'm going to sit on the fence like you do, my friend, every week, and I'm going to say 4-1 Borough. Why not? We said there was a hammering all season, haven't
Paul?
we?
3-0.
3-0 to Borough?
Yeah.
I tell you what, the confidence is sky high here at Red Army TV. Well, look, I'm always going to sit on the fence and say Borough 5-0. And on that note, fellas, thank you very much for joining us. Join me next week, hopefully with another 3 points.